Yo, this is Ars Poetic, and this is my preview of Deceive Inc., developed by Sweet Bandit Studios, which is set to release on March 21st of 2023 for PS5, Xbox Series X, S, and on PC via Steam and the Epic Game Store. The game will be sold for $19.99 or $29.99 if you want to get the Black Tie edition, and will feature crossplay across all platforms. Deceive Inc. is a social stealth multiplayer game that puts you in the shoes of a spy, trying to blend in among NPC crowds and extract with the target package. You'll have to use your skills of deception to remain incognito as long as you can while you compete against other player spies trying to take the package for themselves. You can play this solo against other solo spies, or join a team of up to 3 players against other teams of spies. I recently played the game during the cross-platform open beta weekend that ran from March 10th through the 13th, which was using build version 1.0.0.29612 and was available on all platforms that were targeted for release. I was able to clock in about 11 hours and spent a solid couple of hours with each agent that you can play as in the game. This version of the build is reportedly several weeks old, and the dev team over at Sweet Bandit has already posted the current and next steps they will be taking based on the feedback from this beta. Links to those notes and other info on the game will be in the description. During this beta, we started with 3 of the playable agents, but were able to unlock all 8 through earning in-game points. We had access to 2 of the 4 maps that will be featured in the main game upon release. When it comes to video games, the stealth action genre is one that has certainly carved out its own niche in the industry with a slew of breakout titles and indie gems, but has yet to truly become the center of focus for the average gamer. This is true of single-player games and even more so the truth for the multiplayer stealth games. I'm a huge fan of the stealth genre, with both Metal Gear Solid and Hitman series being among my all-time favorite gaming franchises. I've played nearly every game in both of those series and have a deep appreciation for the quality of exciting, intense stealth play they offer among many other titles, like those in the Splinter Cell series or the early Assassin's Creed games. With a focus on stealth action multiplayer, I was immediately intrigued upon learning about this game. When the open beta finally came around and I saw the developer gameplay overview, I was sold on trying this game out for myself when I saw the excitement and passion behind the developers as they described the game's design. Deceive Inc. leans very heavily into the style of a goofy and overly animated early 70s spy universe. The characters in the world parody the source inspirations in a similar fashion to how the Austin Powers films parody the spy films of the 60s. Take some light hitman social stealth, add in some hero shooter character classes with unique abilities and weapons, and throw in a variety of gadgets and playstyles to churn it all out with a Pixar-style animation. And you got Deceive Inc. Let's get right into the core gameplay systems that come together to build the experience. Whether you play solo or teams, the objectives and gameplay are essentially the same. Stay alive while you secure the package and extract, all while trying to make your moves hidden in plain sight. In solo rounds, you will be up against 11 other agents, while in teams there can be up to 4 teams of 3 agents, or somewhere in between, for a total of 12 players in either mode. At the start of a match, you and any teammates will automatically take on an NPC avatar, which you will use to blend in amongst the many NPCs aimlessly walking around the levels. You can instantly adopt the disguise of these AI characters you see by standing or walking near them and copying their look. This takes only about a second, but does display a very noticeable shift animation that can be easily seen if you are in someone's line of sight. Your perspective will always show your agent and their weapon or selected gadgets, but in the left corner it will display the avatar of your current disguise. You will instantly break this cover if you fire your weapon, perform a melee attack, or receive any damage, or if you are caught in the wrong areas by other NPCs. It will take at least a few seconds before your cover is fully restored in a safe area. There are currently 5 different groups of NPCs, each with their own level of accessibility to secured areas of the maps. Civilians are the most common, but also have the least to offer in terms of getting you to your goals. All staff members prominently wear green clothing and will allow you to maintain cover while inside staff-only areas. Guards are the next level up and are identifiable by their blue attire. Technicians are seen in white lab coats and have access to areas closest to the package, while the VIP can go anywhere. Areas meant for technicians, guards, and staff are all conveniently color-coded to match the appropriate NPC category. You will have to adapt and change disguises to make sure you fit in with your environment. For instance, there are certain areas in which staff or guards are more heavily populated, whereas the technicians are never seen out in the main areas, making you an easy target if you find yourself out there as one. Each character has some actions they can take in certain areas to help them blend in as well. Staff can water plants, guards can take posts in appropriate areas, while technicians can muse over data in a library, for example. This is a fairly straightforward system that streamlines the social stealth gameplay that is well demonstrated by the Hitman franchise, and the real stars of the show here are the NPCs themselves. They don't appear to have much in the way of advanced AI or capabilities and nuances, but all of their movement patterns and directions are randomized in a way that really makes it hard to distinguish an NPC from a player. Don't get me wrong, there are certain types of movement or actions that will be dead giveaways, like jumping or standing in front of doors that would otherwise immediately open for other NPCs. However, you will likely have a hard time trusting many of the characters due to their erratic movement patterns. You'll find that many of them will just randomly stop in place for a moment, shift their direction multiple times, sit down for a short or long period of time, and even start running out of nowhere. It's this lack of uniformity in the AI that helps them closely mirror regular player movements. This is what makes this part of the game so tense and engaging. You'll find that certain doors and safes which contain character upgrades are locked behind a certain number of intel points, which you can gain from hacking various terminals and devices littered throughout the levels. There are some gadgets and characters that add another layer to this hacking, which you'll have to watch out and use for yourself. So let's talk about the agents then, and in what ways they keep the gameplay fresh. At this time, there are 8 agents, each with 3 unique characteristics that set them apart from one another. They each have their own weapon, expertise, and passive ability. Each of these 3 traits have their own 3 alterations that can be unlocked through EXP that is earned and put towards the individual agent's rewards track. For example, upon the relevant unlocks, the agent Chavez can switch out his Sentinel revolver for a short-barreled one that has a faster rate of fire but closer effective range, or a long-barreled variant that has a slower rate of fire but packs even more at a punch at distances. Expertise is the defining ability that each agent has. Chavez can become invulnerable to damage for a brief moment, Larson can turn invisible, and Cavalier can investigate objects that have been interacted with to track down and reveal other agent locations. Each expertise can only be used for a brief moment and will go on a cooldown period before being able to be used again. The passive abilities are slight buffs given to each character. For instance, Squire will gain a speed boost upon having his cover blown, while Yumi will have a shorter cooldown with her equipped gadgets. For more of a breakdown on each of the character abilities, I recommend checking out the gameplay overview and individual character gameplay briefs if you're interested. A link to the playlist containing all of these YouTube videos will be in the description. Each agent can equip 2 gadgets to take with them into the field, and none of them are exclusive to any of the characters, so you have the freedom to check them all out and decide what works best for your playstyle. The gadgets add a significant layer to the gameplay in that they change how you will interact with the world and plan your moves against other agents. At this time, there are 10 gadgets broken down into 4 different archetypes, which are defense, deception, traps, and recon. You will start off with the inflatable bounce mat and spyglass hacking binoculars. The spyglass will allow you to remotely hack devices from short distances and maintain your inconspicuous cover, while the bounce mat serves as a really good escape or traversal tool that can also be used on other agents or NPCs. My go-to gadget combo so far is the Holo Mimic, which allows you to scan various objects like chairs, boxes, and plants so you can then turn into them, and the Hack Trap, which you can use on those hacking terminals to track any agents that interact with them. There are a number of cosmetic unlocks, which include agent outfits and weapon skins. From the menus, we can see that they will be implementing a season pass for progression, which will surely offer a ton of cosmetic items. There are 2 levels that we've seen so far, with glimpses of the other 2 visible from the website and various gameplay videos. The 2 I got to check out were the Hard Cell and Fragrant Shore levels. Hard Cell is a mansion level that takes place at night, offering many different rooms and connected areas, with various courtyards surrounding the mansion for extraction, and the vaults leading to an underground facility in which the package is secured. You'll visit Fragrant Shores during the day, where there is a small town area with various buildings, alleyways, and streets connecting everything together. Once you get access to the vaults, you get to go into the main building on the edge of the map, just outside the busy streets. The other 2 maps, Diamond Spire and Silver Reef, seem to bring their own unique flavor to the levels, with the former taking place in the upper levels of a corporate skyscraper, and the latter being an underwater hotel. I do hope we see day and night variations for each level to keep them somewhat fresh until newer ones roll out. Before I wrap up here, I must mention that while playing on PS5 with various friends, we experienced several crashes throughout our time playing, and party bugs that sometimes prevented all 3 of us from joining a match together, which was pretty disappointing, though we were still overall able to play together for most of our time. These bugs, among others, are being worked on for the full release and down the line for any of those that aren't ironed out by then. It also appears that the game did not have a functional voice chat option despite being present in the menu, which I imagine is being worked on or implemented in the full release. To be fair, when I did play with people, I was in a PlayStation party of friends, and so I did not actively get on the mic during solo play to see if people were talking. I just never heard others. I do hope they add proximity chat for solo play, as I think that would help create a number of intense and funny gameplay moments. Speaking of what I'd like to see and what's to come, let's touch on the roadmap and future content ideas before I wrap up my lasting thoughts on the game. The devs have already confirmed that while there will be the same 8 agents at launch, more are planned for release down the line, along with more maps. Mentioned among the post-beta notes are the more balances to the agents, transparency for weapon damage, polish to gunplay, and overhauls for general gameplay flows. Examples include adjustments to how the vault rooms work in regard to loot and vault terminals, and shared hacking terminals among teams to encourage more coordination and cooperative play. They have expressed plans to expand upon the simple pinging system to a more commonly used contextual ping system, which will allow some more specificity with ping communications. This is a major inclusion that helps coordination with people off or even on mic. Other enhancements like aim assist improvements for controller players, improvements to hitboxes and melee attacks, spatial audio improvements, and NPC reactions were also mentioned. Overall, I had a blast playing this game. Diving into the development diary videos and seeing the passion carry through to the game experience is refreshing. Also, I have to give extra points to them for taking a chance on a stealth-focused game in an era where competitive shooters are all the hype. While Deceive Inc. does have FPS elements, the real star of the show here is the social stealth, and as a major fan of the mischief you can get into with the likes of Hitman and the Metal Gear Solid series, I really do get a kick out of the fun that's to be had here. If you are interested in this game at all, I really do encourage you to just take the dive, especially considering it's only $20. I pre-ordered the Black Tie edition myself to further support the devs because I dig what's going on here, and I hope they can really maximize on the potential a game like this can offer. I love generic military shooters as much as the next guy. I mean, seriously, I do. But as a massive stealth fan, I'm happy to see a game like this pop up on my radar. That wraps up my preview for Deceive Inc. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you checking out my video. Please let me know what you liked about this video, and if you're interested on a full-on review for this game or any particular aspects or updates on it later down the line. If there's another game or device you'd like me to check out and cover, be sure to let me know in the comments as well. If you haven't already seen my review of Severed Steel, I recommend checking that one out if you're into some good old-fashioned slow-mo bullet hell acrobatic action. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate you hitting that like button and sharing it with anyone you think would also like it. Check out the channel for other reviews, previews, gameplay clips, and original music. I also run a podcast with a couple of good friends and the big homie 3 Kings. Links will be in the description for all that stuff, and if you think you'd enjoy staying up to date with any of the content I'm putting out, be sure to subscribe. This is Ars Poetic, dropping the mic. Peace.